Yeah. Winter's come early, but it sure is pretty. Can't argue with that.
Little Tildy doesn't care about the storm. No worries for the little Tildebeest. Are you worried about the storm? Are you worried you can't get out? You don't look worried. Aw.
Well, folks, we did a little upgrade to our transportation on and off the mountain. We did it just in time, too. Let me show you. So as you can see, we made a little change to the Ranger. We took the wheels off, put on a set of tracks, and man, doesn't that change the look of the machine. Huh? And we put them on and we got dumped on with snow. Look at the snow we have out here. Yeah, let's take a closer look. We have a much bigger footprint now. No? And a whole lot more traction. And I really like the look of the machine now. It's freaking badass. Look at that thing. And look at the clearance, huh? Lifted it right off the ground. Yeah, we are in good shape for the winter. A real big improvement to our lifestyle up here on the mountain. Oh, the skidoo was good. It was fun. And we will continue to use that for zipping up and down the mountain. But there are times you need to haul in some cargo. And this has turned into a heck of a workhorse. I'm sinking in 18 inches. I weigh around 195. I don't know what this weighs, but it's awful heavy. The tracks are like a set of snowshoes for it. Even with all that tonnage, it's sinking in right about 8.5 inches. That's incredible. So far, this has exceeded my expectations. After I run them for a few months, I'll give you a little update, share my experiences with you. But just this alone, isn't this crazy? I'm sinking down 18 inches, and that's only sinking down 8. Yeah. So we got the machine here, got it covered up with a tarp, and the snow kept coming down. Heavy, wet snow. Through the night, heard some big branches coming off of the trees out here. In the morning, couldn't believe it. Our road in here was obliterated. Trees down everywhere. And the snow is deep. Without the tracks, I don't think we would have made it very far. We would have been dragging belly, we would have been stuck, okay? That was something we didn't want to deal with. So grateful and thankful that we followed through with this and put the tracks on this thing. Went down the road with the chainsaw, spent all day cutting the road open. What a chore. I tell you, we want an adventure, we got it. Yeah. Another tree across the road. I'm retired tonight. So far, this machine has served us well. But I would have never invested this kind of money on something just to go trail riding with. This is too much machine for trail riding. But for our purposes here, this is our lifeline on and off the mountain. The snowmobile, That gets us on and off the mountain, but it's a chore. You got to suit up, hook up a sled behind it. It's fun once in a while. But to get all of our supplies in and out, this is the way to go. This was a good move. I'll show you. Got the hard cab. Frankie likes it. Got the glass windshield, the heater, defroster, the windshield wiper. On those crappy days with ice storms and everything, this is fantastic. Now with the tracks, the only thing is when the snowmobile trail is hard packed and we get freezing rain and it turns to ice, that's the only time I'm going to wish that I had my tires with my chains. So at some point I will get my other Ranger here up from New York and get that set up for that, but don't have it for this year. So what I want to do next is I want to design a custom cap for this. I got something in mind. I want to build that. I'll have a roof rack right over the top. That way if I want to do a project in the wintertime, I can throw some 2x4s or whatever up top, strap them down. It's turning into a heck of a workhorse for us. We're loving it. Loving it so far.
All right, time for the weekly Q&A session. Bang out a few questions and call it a day. Question number 1. Do you clean the filters on your water purifier? Yes, we do. How often they need to be cleaned depends on the condition of your water. In New York, we had really hard water. It stunk like hard-boiled eggs, tasted like a rusty pipe. That water would clog up everything. It would clog up our washing machine, the shower head, the faucet, everything. So it didn't take long before our filters were all plugged up. Take them out of the purifier, scrub them up with like a plastic scrubby. They were a mess. That was some hard water to deal with. But up here on the mountain, water's fantastic. No smell to it. Tastes wonderful. No residue whatsoever on the filters. Just give them a quick cleaning once a year. We're in good shape. This water purifier is fantastic. There's been some questions about propane tanks, like what size tanks do I use and what would I recommend for a small cabin, etc., etc. I get quite a few of those because a lot of people are building cabins. People want to know is it cheaper to buy a lot of propane in a bigger tank rather than a smaller one? Most places sell the propane by the gallon. So if you show up with a 30-pounder or a 100-pounder, there's really no savings there. Of course, if you have a 100-pounder, you're going to have to go and have it filled less than you would with a smaller one. What I recommend is getting the size tank that you can handle. The 100-pounders need to stand up when you are transporting them when they are full. Okay, so you need to have it on a trailer or a pickup truck. The 30-pound tanks are really good. Now, when you're buying tanks, the price of a 30-pounder or a 40-pounder, they're not too much cheaper than the 100-pounders. So get the biggest tank that you can handle. That's what I recommend. Now here's a question that I get quite often. I usually answer it in a private message. Although it's come in a few times this week, I'll cover it here today. What is Patreon? In short, Patreon is the saving grace for YouTubers. Having a Patreon channel was recommended to me by a lot of my friends on YouTube. I dragged my feet for about a year, finally started a channel, and I'm really glad I did. So what is it? How do you use it? Etc. It's much like viewer-supported television, like PBS. You can watch it for free, or you can choose to support it. When I was thinking about starting a channel, I looked at other Patreon channels and I saw that they had different subscription levels most starting at $3, then they had like a $10 and a $25 and so on and so forth. We started it with a $3 and a $10 tier, and then we eliminated the $10 tier, and we have it at $3. It's a $3 subscription. It's a name your pledge kind of thing. Minimum is $3, which is about the price of a good cup of coffee per month. And that entitles you to all the content on there. What content do we put on there? Well, it's a little different content than what I put on YouTube. It's a more intimate look at our life. Lori and I post on there together. We also do some written blogs, and there's audio blogs, and there's early access to the Sunday blog that I put on YouTube. It's just a combination of different things. We post as often as we can, and so far so good. Most of the patrons that have come there have stayed. Some come and go. Some come and they leave and then they come back, and that's fine. And like I said, it's about the price of a good cup of coffee per month. And it helps to replace what YouTube has taken away from YouTubers. I speak with a lot of YouTubers that have Patreon channels and about how they operate theirs. And like I said, it's the saving grace for YouTubers. People that want to support their channels can become patrons of them, or they can just watch the content here on YouTube. And it's just a little different content. So that's what Patreon is. What are some of the must-haves that you keep at the cabin? Do you buy in bulk, etc.? We stay pretty well stocked with food here, but as far as must-haves, something that I will snowshoe down the mountain for, coffee, half and half for the coffee, eggs, cheese, wine, toilet paper, and milk bones. Yep. We will snowshoe down the mountain for any one of those items. Simple pleasures. So that's it for now, folks. That's it for today. That's all she wrote. I'll get back to the mouse bucket madness next week. Just haven't had any time to mess with that, with all the snow and all the fallen timber across the road. We've had our work cut out for us. So I'm going to finish this up, get some editing done, head down to the town library, and do the upload. Going to be a busy day. Yep. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Keep the questions coming. All the best to you, and God bless.
Frankie and the boss out walking in the woods, living life happy and free. Tracks in the snow everywhere they go. There's a pokey way up in that tree. A beaver built a pond where they have some fun, taking life a day at a time. Best friends until the end. Frankie and the boss. Frankie and the boss. Frankie and the boss.